It's an all-new Versus! In this corner, the b-boy extraordinaire, video game addict, and known weeb, Dave Klein! And in this corner, the contender from the South, able to add extra syllables and vowels where there absolutely shouldn't be any, Kris Carr! Pacific Rim versus Neon Genesis Evangelion! Anime versus action! These foes are completely in disagreement!
Scott, you know that both of us like anime and action movies, right?
Yeah, Kris is actually in a couple anime series.
Yeah, but in dubs.
You're in dubs? You fake anime fan.
I don't speak Japanese.
Anata wa busaiku gaijin me. Kutabare.
What he said? Hit like, punch subscribe, grab your mech suit and fight!
First, let me begin by saying westernizing anime's old hat. We've been doing this song and dance of who came first and who did it better for ages.
Lion King? Just a Disney-fied Kimba the White Lion. Outlaw Star did Firefly first. Ghost in the Shell straight up was the inspo for The Matrix. You could compare Pacific Rim to any of the mech-heavy animes out there.
You could, but clearly Neon Genesis Evangelion is the direct correlation anime, while Del Toro claims there's just a general Japanese anime influence when it comes to Pacific Rim. I call shenanigans. I'm here to prove that Evangelion is the superior monster fighting mech suit wearing show.
And I'm here to be Team Idris Elba! Team Pacific Rim.
Theme song!
So usually you and Whitney start the fight over the theme song.
Yeah, but mine's a movie, not a series. So, there's a soundtrack, but there's not really a specific song, so.
Point Dave. Seriously though, the Neon Genesis Evangelion theme song is an iconic anime theme song. And even before I ever watched the anime, I knew this song because it was in like every AMV ever. That's anime music video for fake nerd girls like Kris.
What the funk, Dave?
Plot!
Evangelion takes place 15 years after the cataclysmic worldwide event where meteors struck the Earth, wiping out half of the Earth's population, knocking the Earth out of orbit and causing weird weather patterns, plus bringing about kaiju referred to as angels. In other words, shit's real bad. The mysterious organization NERV has been funded to build giant mechs dubbed Evangelion in order to fight these angels. But while it seems like kaiju against humankind on the surface, the show is the depressing, philosophical, and psychological journey following the pilots who are actually able to control the Evangelion.
Pacific Rim presents us with a world where kaiju, giant sea monsters, have risen from the sea and mankind is in a knockdown, drag-out war. To battle these formidable foes, humans build Jaegers, massive machines piloted by two humans who lock together in a neural bridge system. Despite humanity's efforts, we're on the brink of total destruction, and our fate hangs in the hands of two pilots. We also have to explore the historic context of the kaiju genre. Whitney, go on and school us.
Historically, kaiju films came about by combining the giant monster movie genre from films like King Kong and working them in with the re-emerged Japanese fear of atomic weapons. This common storyline worked as a parable of the nuclear age, but also presented themes on human hubris and the wrath of nature. These monsters, more often than not, are the result of acts of God. Volcanoes erupting, tectonic plates shifting.
Okay, we get it, Professor Smartbrain, thank you. They're stories that are literally and figuratively bigger than us. Pacific Rim is a celebration of the kaiju mecha big beastie genre that so many of us love. It's a story of good versus evil, and at its core, it's about how we as individuals must come together as a united front to combat the forces of evil. Come together or perish. I think we can get behind that theme.
Can I have an epic Whitney cameo too?
Ooh, no, they're all used up.
Characters!
You have Shinji Ikari, the protagonist of the series and son of Gendo Ikari, director of the military force NERV. Gendo pretty much abandoned Shinji as a child, who also has no mother as he witnessed her death as a child. He struggles with self-worth and has an Oedipus complex. He's constantly struggling during battles not only due to the kaiju he's fighting, but also due to his internal conflicts. Meanwhile, his main co-pilot, Rei Ayanami, is a whole other bag of extreme issues. Some of them I don't want to break down as they're a little spoilery, but she's completely reserved and suffers from feeling expendable. In fact, the characters of the show were meant to reflect parts of series writer/director Hideaki Anno's own personality, and the series meant to reflect his own spiral into depression after a major anime failure he'd worked on. Point is, the characters in the show itself are deep.
Ooh, a depressive existential deconstruction? How fun. Now I know he's crew, but let's talk about who's at the helm of Pacific Rim. Guillermo del Toro brought us this bad boy, and last time I checked, he's an Academy Award-winning director with several noms under his belt. When it comes to monsters, del Toro is the end-all be-all of them. He's the monster authority. In addition to fanboy del Toro, the rest of the Pacific Rim cast has geek cred, y'all. Bern Gorman of Torchwood fame, having the Jaeger AI be voiced by Gladys herself, Ellen McLean, Ron Perlman as Hannibal Chow, oh come on! I'm a huge fan of anything Perlman. Hell, I watched Sons of Anarchy, which is totally not up my alley because of Hellboy. And that led me to discover Charlie Hunnam, who is a tremendously talented actor. He was super relatable as the washed-up ex-pilot. He did so much with that brother dynamic that we only got a little glimpse of, and made what could have been a cheesy, gimmicky role have depth, nuance, and likability. Okay, let's talk Mako Mori, a badass pilot who lost her father to the kaiju. She's never given a typical action movie ass shot or upskirt, and she was a total breath of fresh air when this 2013 flick came on the scene. She was strong, she didn't take shit, but she wasn't needlessly bitchy or cruel to stand out among her mostly male peers. Charlie Day as Newt, the doctor who studies the kaiju and gives insight to defeat them as well as some much needed levity, was fantastically fun. And finally, we have General Stacker Pentecost, played by the insanely sexy Idris Elba.
Are you just going to talk about how hot Idris Elba is?
Oh, Dave, I'ma show you. Why would I not watch this? He is so perfect.
I get that Evangelion doesn't have big explosions, well, it had some of those, but not to the extent of Pacific Rim. And I get that it doesn't have Idris Elba, but Kris, life isn't about Idris Elba, it's about Emily Ratajkowski, and last I checked, she wasn't in Pacific Rim. And while Pacific Rim is a fun momentary romp, it doesn't stick with you. It's a movie you watch and say, okay, that was 2 hours and 12 minutes and 15 seconds of my life I spent watching big robots blow stuff up. Meanwhile, Evangelion hits you right here, right in the heart, and it sticks with you. It's a show that has moments where you have to pause, take a deep breath, and contemplate things, which is something a lot of shows can't say. Not only does it hit you in the feels, but it still has giant robots fighting kaiju to save the world from the brink of destruction and explosions. So there! Nah!
Look, Dave, I like my action a little more popcorny. I like rooting for good. I like celebrating the human spirit. Pacific Rim is a killer party with 2 kegs and blast dropkick Murphys until 3 in the morning. And NGE is like the dude who shows up and reads Jean-Paul Sartre in the corner while drinking out of a bottle of wine that he will not share and smokes in your apartment even though you told him not to. Sometimes I want something a bit more consumable. Your show is about human suffering, loneliness, self-actualization. And there happens to be robots. Mine's like, we got motherfucking robots! Who wants to do Jaeger bombs? We've got enough depressing crap to deal with in real life. I don't want that getting in the way of my robots punching sea monsters, okay?
Obviously, we don't see eye to eye on this one.
And chances are you don't either. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Who do you think won the battle? Click the information icon in the corner of your screen to vote now! Loser will have to sit through every boring episode of Gundam, but every voice is replaced with Gilbert Gottfried's.
Oh.
Actually, sounds kind of entertaining in a weird way.
I don't believe it! I still don't believe it!